For my A2 media project, I made sure I used, developed and challenged the conventions of real media products because I feel that it is important to follow certain conventions to produce a successful and professional media product. From the primary and secondary research I have done into the media sector of music videos, I have learned that each genre of music holds its own conventions and codes as to the idea of what will be appealing to their specific target audience and what star image will be created from this. I challenged the notion of having just one genre for an artist. Instead, I chose two genres that complemented each other, pop and indie. I chose the soft indie and pop genre because I wanted to still follow the conventions of both without having a dominant one. I researched artists such as Ellie Goulding, but also I wanted my product to have an acoustic feel, therefore I also looked at Taylor Swift and Colbie Caillat. Because these female artists are portrayed as strong women and not just sexualized objects, as many are seen nowadays. This could be considered as a hybrid genre because I added the acoustic genre to my pop and indie. I researched several theorists and theories that help me understand and follow the conventions of music videos. I follow and developed the majority of concepts made by Goodwin, the first one being that there is a relationship between the music and the visuals.
If I had to climb the highest mountain,
I made sure that the cuts and edits of the video were in sync with the rhythm and beat of the song. This created a sense of development in my video and encouraged the illustrating and amplifying of music. There are three distinctive ways that music videos are characterized: performance, narrative, and concept-based. I decided that I would have a mixture between performance and narrative because this is conventional in a pop indie genre, where the performance is usually found in pop, and the narrative, as well as engaging the audience, is found in indie genres. I followed the convention of having my artist acting as both narrator and performer, which helped make my video more authentic. However, the lip sync and other mimed actions remains the heart of music videos, which I completed successfully even though my artist was not a professional singer or musician. Therefore, music videos will always include the artist, to allow the viewers to identify with the artist and aspire to be like them. This refers back to the Richard Dyer star theory, where the audience, especially a young adult range, target audience, that I chose intentionally so they could look up to my female star who is also young and they can create the notion of utopian possibilities, where everything is possible. This is seen mainly with female artists like Beyoncé, who is one of the biggest stars in the music industry, and Katy Perry, who has created a specific iconic star image, like her coloured hair. My star will be recognised similarly by her long curly hair. Another convention I notice in pop music videos is the constant use of close-ups on the artist's face, either while performing or in the narrative. This is key to establish a relationship between the artist and the audience and portray emotion. I followed this convention by having close-ups of my female artist throughout. Another camera shot found is the establishing shots, usually at the start of a music video, to establish the setting, and I followed this. In most pop music videos, I noticed that there seems to be a constant high-angle camera shot. This is common in female-dominated music videos. Therefore, I wanted to develop this and used low-angle shots to show the power of women as it appears they are superior. This allowed me to challenge the theory by Suk Jali that women are represented as inferior and simply sex objects for the male gaze. I once again challenged the convention of sexualization of women from the theorists Suk Jali and Laurel Mulvey, when I maintained the integrity of my female artist. Even though she is the unique selling point for my whole promotional package, I still wanted her to look relatable and wanted her to represent positively. Therefore, she was wearing a long dress in my music video, digipack and music poster, which covered most of her body. She was also wearing simple makeup, which didn't create a provocative look. This helped me follow some of the conventions highlighted in the indie genre. Unlike in many pop-dominated music videos, the female artist is wearing provocative clothing and makeup. I noticed in indie and acoustic genres there tends to be props used, and I followed this convention by having a guitar to emphasize my acoustic atmosphere and include an iconic sign that I usually found in most music videos with a narrative base, making a reference to C.S. Peirce, who created the theory of the semiotics. Mine was a letter that supposedly the male left for the female to find, which also made reference to Roland Barthes and the codes found in narrative-based music videos, as this could be considered as an enigma code where the audience don't know who has left the letter. This is iconic because there is no room for misinterpretation. The need for lots of close-ups of the artist create a star image, and the artist may develop motifs. The artist then becomes a unique selling point and the main focus point of the products. My print products follow the generic conventions because I have consistent image of my female artist and having her as a main focus point throughout. The real media texts I looked at were mainly in the pop genre, and I found that there would always be a female artist on the front cover. For example, I looked at pop artists like Rihanna and Demi Lovato, but also wanted to focus on a more indie acoustic vibe, so I looked at Taylor Swift and Colby Kylack as well. What they all had in common was the front cover being a close-up of the artist looking directly at the camera. I developed this convention by having my artist look towards the camera as well, reinforcing that star image. However, on the front cover of my digipack and my music poster, I used a long shot because I wanted to include the outside setting as much as possible and be able to include the guitar, which would all emphasize my acoustic indie genre. I also made sure there were only 2 font styles in my print products, which is important to follow the conventions of a professional media product, and it is seen in real media text throughout. My main product and ancillary text form a coherent promotional campaign for the new album release for various reasons. It starts off with a clear link between all 3 products as I use the same female artist throughout, which helps create that vital star image and that the audience can easily make an evident link between these products if they were seen separately, and it becomes instantly recognizable. The continuity of the locations in my products are clear because I made sure the locations featured in my music video, such as the beach and the garden setting, would also appear in my auxiliary text. As you can see, I kept the theme of the garden throughout. The prop of the guitar being featured in all of my work helped create that iconic link between each one of them, and helped the audience instantly recognize the product. From doing additional research, I began to collect primary research which helped me to form my quantitative data, where I asked my target audience of young adults what genre they'd prefer, and pop and indie were the 2 genres that stood out. Therefore, I created a music video incorporating both genres so I could attract a wider target audience. This is their feedback.
If I had to climb the highest mountain alone across the sea, would you wait for me with no word, no answer? Tell me, would you wait?
I used various different media technologies throughout. The beginning, I used Google and YouTube, which allowed me to further my knowledge and research into real media products where I could look for generic conventions that will help me in my own work. It allowed me to do some primary and secondary research, as well as I was able to do textual, content and semiotic analysis of these real media products, such as the music videos in particular. Using the collected information, I then began to plan my products on the school WordPress blog. It enabled me to post my progress and my journey from the start until the final music video product, and it was useful because it allowed me to look back at my initial ideas and research, and I was able to improve them in the early stages. Before I began filming, I used a Canon 600D DSLR, which enabled me to go out onto different locations and take pictures to create a recce that would allow me to envision my music video. I then used a mixture of this camera and one of the school-provided film cameras to shoot my music video and take photos for my print products. I used the manual settings for focus, shutter speed and exposure, all to enable a creative and engaging piece of work. After the production stage, I moved on to the post-production, where I uploaded my captured footage onto Adobe Premiere Pro 4, where it allowed me to create easy shot sequences, color correct, and use the brightness and contrast tool for my music video efficiently. For my images, I uploaded that onto Photoshop 5, where I then was able to add effects such as grammar control, RGB curves, change the opacity and saturation levels of my images to make them more vivid and give them a more pop stylized feel. In the evaluation stage, I used YouTube again, this time to upload my music video, so I could get real audience feedback and suggested improvements as well from a much wider audience.